John Cena!
Hey everyone, the moment is here, guys. The moment is finally here. Let us review this film, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. The moment is finally here. It feels like Star Wars all over again. The moment is finally here, and now I can finally talk about it. So, this will be a non-spoiler review, so don't worry, you are safe from here. I will not be posting anything spoiler-related in this video, but I will be posting a spoiler review tomorrow, so look out for that. And, well, I was going to do a video last night. It's just that I came home extremely late from this film because I saw it at 10:30 p.m. and didn't get home around 1 in the morning. So, extremely tired from last night, so let's just get this review done so I can get some sleep. So, I'm going to tell you all my positives, my negatives, and then I'm going to give you my overall thought of this film. So let's first start off with some of the positives about this film. The positives about this film is the first thing that everyone is talking about. Ben Affleck's Batman is by far one of the best Batmans that we've gotten on screen to date. Now, I don't know if it's the best Batman that we've gotten on screen, because I'm just trying to put into perspective that the fact that I just saw it last night. So, I might need to see this film like one more time just to give myself a little bit more, let me know a little bit. Like, I'm trying to think of all the things that I saw last night in my head. But the things that stand out the most were the Ben Affleck Batman scenes. So I will give Ben Affleck a lot of credit in this film because he did a great job as Batman. And I don't know if he is the best Batman because I still love some of the classic Batmans from the past. But in terms of character, in terms of what this Batman does in this film, phenomenal. And probably the most brutal and violent Batman that we will ever get, because this new Batman does not play around. He does a lot of things that, I'm not going to say, but he does do a lot of cool things and a lot of violent and dark things in this film. So I give credit just for this Batman alone. The other thing that I absolutely love about this film is the Wonder Woman aspect. The Wonder Woman aspect is incredible. The way that she was introduced to this film is phenomenal. It was a great way to introduce this character and establish that Wonder Woman does exist in this universe. It was great how they introduced her. I did appreciate that the Diana Prince part of Wonder Woman, but there are some negatives about Diana Prince that I will get to later in this review. But for overall performances, I think that Gal Gadot did do a good job as Wonder Woman for the short time that she was there. And I did like that Wonder Woman was not just a, I'm glad that she wasn't a main character. I'm glad that she was more of a side character of anything. So, good job on that part. I'm glad that they didn't make her a big character. Well, she is a big character, but she isn't a huge character in terms of like story or plot. Now, for Superman, I think that Superman did do a good job. Henry Cavill did do a good job as Superman. I think that this Superman is a lot more dark. He's a little bit more, he's kind of sad at times. Like this whole movie, he's kind of really sad. I understand why, but yeah, he's very sad. He's kind of a sad Superman in this movie. He's just kind of lifeless. He doesn't have that much hope, and I understand that because this is a new Superman. But I just, that could have been a little bit better. Just see a little bit of a lighter Superman. Be a little bit more hopeful. The fight scenes between Batman and Superman, even though I'll say it, there's just one fight between Batman and Superman, and the fight that we did get, it was phenomenal. It was really good. The CGI and the cinematography on that fight, perfect. It was really, really good. The cinematography on the armored suit and the fight between them was really, really telling, and it was just very, very cool. And the scope of this film, like the scenery is very well done too. Like the background is really good. The fight scenes are kind of limited in some aspects, but for most part they're actually really well done. Even though most of the fights are CGI, some of the fights that we get, for example, like with Batman, it's actually really cool. So I give them kudos to a film that could have been all CGI, but really there are a lot of times that some of the fights are just not even in CGI, so I give them props for that. I mean, mainly what I'm saying is I appreciate the Batman scenes more than I did the CGI scenes. So I also did like some of the side characters. Like, for example, the one that I liked the most out of the three was Jimmy Irons' Alfred, because I think that his character was actually kind of cool. I kind of wish that he kind of had a little bit more of a purpose in the film, but for what we got, he was actually a pretty good Alfred. Amy Adams did a good job as Lois Lane. She was fine. I mean, again, this is just the Lois Lane that we saw in Man of Steel, so it's nothing different. And Martha was fine too. I mean, these are just side characters, so they're not really serving as much of a purpose. So, yeah, those are pretty much all of my positives. The other positive that I also do have is the cameos that we get. I'm pretty sure you guys know that there are cameos in this film. I'm not going to say who they are, but you should know that there are cameos for some other characters in the DC realm. So, those are some of my positives about the film. Now let's get to my negatives about the film. Okay, the first thing that we just gotta get out of the way, because this is just I gotta say, there's a lot of problems with this film. There's a ton of problems. The first one we gotta get out of the way is the editing on this film. The editing in this film is absolutely terrible. I hated it from the start, and I hated it from the end, because it's just the way they paste this film together is just a mess. They didn't pace themselves to... They just didn't do a good job with pacing, because it goes from one scene and then it goes directly to another scene, and sometimes the emotional scenes that you really, really want to see sometimes, they make those things literally like 3 minutes long. So it's just that this film should have been longer, and it's 2 hours and 30 minutes, so it's long enough, but the fact that this film is so fast and pacing, I felt that this film should have been longer. And knowing that we are going to get an R-rated Ultimate Edition on DVD really makes me interested to see, what those 30 minutes contain. So I really am interested to see what 30 minutes they're going to have in the Ultimate Edition, and if it is going to make a difference on this film. The other problem that I have with this film is the story. The story just not make any sense to me. There was just not a clear story in this entire film. There's like something going on with Superman, there's something going on with Batman, you got something on with Wonder Woman, and you got Lex Luthor doing this. There's just multiple stories going on in this film, and it tries to get itself together, but it just did not get itself together. It just was kind of on its own thing. Like, Batman had his own thing, Superman had his own thing, Wonder Woman had his own thing. Lex Luthor kind of had his thing with everybody, except Wonder Woman, but it's just kind of all over the place in terms of like a story, and it wasn't a clear message and a clear story, and it just didn't really make sense in terms of story. The other thing that I hate about this film, Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, hated. I just did not like him at all. I get what they were trying to do in terms of this character. They're trying to make him like the wacky kind of person, and then in the next couple films he's going to be super serious. But just for the performance alone, from Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, I just did not like it at all. It was just not a great performance. It did not fit with the film. It just felt rushed, and it did not seem cohesive in the film. So, yeah, I just did not like his performance at all. It was just not a great performance. It didn't fit with the film at all. It just didn't fit with the atmosphere, and yeah, I just did not like it at all. So yeah, that's definitely a negative to me. And some of the other things that I have to give negatives towards is also we mentioned this briefly on my goods. That was the cameos. The cameos are great. It's just that the way that they put them in is just cheesy. It's super cheesy how they put these cameos in. And it's just very, very, very rushed in terms of how they put those cameos in. And when we get to the spoilers review, you'll see what I mean. And yeah, I just did not like these I like the cameos, like the people that we get, cool. It's just the way they represented the cameos, did not appreciate it. So I also have to say this is kind of a negative for me, but kind of a positive in a way, but this is more to me a negative, and that was Doomsday. Doomsday was a character that I was hoping to like in the film. Now I will say this, the character of Doomsday, like the way that Doomsday is introduced, was actually kind of cool. I liked it a lot. But in terms of where Doomsday fits in the story, that's where that's where this falls into a negative, because it just did not work. The only reason that Doomsday is really in the movie is to get these three characters together. That's really the whole purpose for Doomsday. And this gets me to wonder, why was Doomsday in the film? Because you could have had a different villain. You could have had Lex Luthor, I don't know, put on an armored suit. You could have had someone better than Doomsday, in my opinion. And even at the end of the movie, when certain things happen, you're just like sitting there asking yourself, why was Doomsday in this movie, and why did those scenes happen? So, yeah, guys, I just really think that here's my conclusion to this film. This is the conclusion of this review. This all boils down to how you view this film. You either view this as a Batman v Superman film, you either view this as a Batman film, a Superman film, or you view this as a Justice League prequel. For me, honestly, walking out of this film, I'm going to say that this is more of a Justice League prequel movie than a Batman vs. Superman movie, because it just wasn't, it just didn't feel, I just did not see the clash between these two titans, and I just did not see the potential, you know. It just felt more like a Justice League prequel than anything else. Now, that's not a bad thing, but if your movie's called Batman vs. Superman, you should make me feel like this is a Batman vs. Superman movie, not a Dawn of Justice movie. So, yeah, guys, overall, for score, I'm going to give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. There's a lot of cool things about this film, but there's also a lot of negatives in this film, because there's a lot of things that this film does right, and there's a lot of things that this film just does not do great at all. So, that is it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below how you guys felt about Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, and stay tuned for my spoilers review coming out tomorrow. So, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, in these videos, Beau out. See you next time. Peace.